Hi, I'm Patricia Shanks, and this is Studio Shanks Sundays live at 5. Keep watching. My guest today, I'm so thrilled to say, is a wonderful jazz vocalist, just exceptional vocalist. I've heard her a few times, Lia Booth. So, hi, Lia. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. So, I called you a jazz vocalist. I know sometimes singers have a different idea of what they do or who they are. How do you characterize your singing?
I That's exactly how I characterize it. I call myself a jazz vocalist. It's the main thing that I do. It's my expression. I do other things. However, when it's me and my authentic self, it's jazz.
Perfect. Yeah. I've heard you do different styles. You're very versatile. And you seem to have a niche though, or at least your sound is kind of, it's reminiscent of the past. In fact, I have a quote from your website that I really love. It says, her daring yet effortless musical style, so perfect because you seem so effortless, but it's fantabulous. Is that a word?
It is now.
Musical is rooted deeply in the past, but with a contemporary sensibility that breathes new life into classic jazz standards night after night. So it's kind of a juxtaposition of a past style and yet your riffs and things that you do are so contemporary. So tell me a little bit about how you developed this, or who you
Well,
are.
so I guess the contemporary part of it, I grew up, I have two vocalist parents. They did different styles of music. So I grew up listening to like classic rock, but also, 90s indie pop and mainstream music. But as I got older, my mom would be playing Nat King Cole and Sarah Vaughan and things like that. And that kind of unknowingly influenced it, I think, because I didn't become aware of jazz until I got to college, which I think is kind of sad,
Well, no,
considering
well, you've
it's my entire life now.
yeah, you've done well with it, having just
Thank
really
you.
discovered it in college. You've done
Thank you.
because I mean you're only, barely out of college now anyway. So
We'll say that.
we'll say that. So, but you are very young and doing tremendous things. You're performing everywhere.
Thank you.
I know you've performed coast to coast. Have you performed outside of the United States at all? Or?
I have informally. I haven't. Well, that's not entirely true. Actually, I did go to China, but that was for a choir competition in college. We did this like giant international competition where I did sing in the choral ensemble, but I also sang in the vocal jazz ensemble, which is where I really got my start in jazz about 11 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about because I think there were a couple of jazz groups that you started with, and that was in college or
Yeah.
before college.
So I started college in 2010, and I auditioned for a vocal jazz ensemble called Syncopation at Mount San Antonio College, Mount SAC, under the direction of Bruce Rogers, who's a wonderful director, choral and vocal jazz. And I knew about it because I had a friend in middle school whose older sister was in that group. And so we used to go to their concerts all the time. And I was like, I have to do this. I have to sing in this group. And I didn't know anything about jazz. I, would like sing and play my guitar, and I was in choir in high school, but I didn't really know anything about jazz. So immediately after high school, I went to this community college and I auditioned for this group. And you have to scat in the audition. And I had never scatted before. I had kind of heard it. And I was used to like singing along with instrumental lines growing up with all of the different types of music. That was just like a part of my interest. I didn't just want to sing the melody. I wanted to sing the instrumental lines and I wanted to sing the harmony. So I kind of had a little bit of an idea of what to do. And I made it in the group. And it just kind of went from there. Um, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. And the group was Syncopation, right?
Correct.
With the word sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be clever. So
SING. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and what was there another group that you were a part of as well?
Yes. So after being in syncopation for about 4 years, I took a year off of choir and finished up my GEs at Mount Sac, and then I transferred to Cal State Long Beach, where I sang in their top vocal jazz ensemble, Pacific Standard Time, under the direction of Christine Guter, for 1 year.
Great, great. Now, I kind of let it get past me, but you were talking about having to scat. So,
Mhm.
who have you listened to? Who have been your inspiration, your mentors, who have
Mhm.
helped you progress along those lines?
Mhm. Uh, for sure, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan. Oh yeah, big one. She was like the pioneer of scat. Sarah Vaughan, Mel Torme, Anita O'Day, who's my personal favorite. Um, and
And
then there are, sorry, go
not
ahead.
everybody today, that's all right. Not everybody today knows Anita O'Day,
Correct.
but she was marvelous.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and worth, if anyone is interested in learning to do what you do, they really should pay attention to Anita O'Day.
Right. Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
of course
honestly
Ella.
for me, yeah. Honestly for me, the just the the daring, effortless experimentation that I do largely comes from Anita O'Day. I mean, it's my personality, yes, but musically, like she's the one that I really look to as a role model for that stuff.
Yeah, and so you're so pleasant in our interview here. You're so pleasant in person. But when you see you on stage, does that make sense? When a person sees you on stage,
Right.
you have sort of a grace, sort of it's a very classy presentation.
Thank you.
Very, yeah. And yet there's a lot of fun. You have a lot of fun with your audience,
Yeah.
and I think that's another juxtaposition. So you really have your own unique style, but
Thank
with
you.
the 40s kind of sound.
Yes.
What are some of the tunes that you do so that people can identify them with you? What are some of
Oh
your
yeah.
favorite tunes?
I would say the most true to my personality is one that's a little bit lesser known. It's real goofy, it's real out there, it has a lot of words. So every time at the beginning of the song, I'm like, okay, folks, the song has a lot of words. If you want to hear them, you gotta, because sometimes people talk. But it's called Twisted. And it was done by Annie Ross, who was in the vocal ensemble Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. It was originated the song was originally a saxophone solo instrumental piece by Wardell Gray, and so she took it and she wrote lyrics to it, and it just goes all over the place. It follows this solo that he did in the recording, so it's all over the place, and the lyrics are real goofy, and you can just do lots of funny things with it, and that's what I love to do. It's very like vocally, technically difficult, but also extremely playful, which I totally love.
Yeah, and as effortless as your style is, I want to talk to this because I think you've also coached some people, and you have to instill in them, right, that this, though it looks effortless and you look like this, just a second nature, there's a lot of work to keeping
A lot
this
of work.
thing in shape and learning new material,
Yep.
and yeah, and also one other thing, when I've listened to you do those crazy wild things that you do, your pitch is just dead on.
Thank you.
It's yes, no, you're fantastic. No, I'm a huge fan. So
Oh,
we look forward to more from you. Not to depart from talking about coaching and things like that.
sure.
For people who want to do what you do,
Yeah.
what kind of advice, you know where I'm going with this, I'll mumble for a moment so you can think about it. How would you advise young singers who want to do the kind of singing that you're doing and performing that you're doing?
Well, I would tell them the same thing that I was told, which is listen. Listen first and foremost. Listen to all the old recordings, all of the big names from back in the day. Listen to instrumentalists, listen to vocalists, and try and emulate what they do. Because you're
Yes,
learning new vocabulary when you're learning this kind of music. And it's a hugely different vocabulary from other types of music. So the only way that you can learn that is by listening.
yes.
I would say that that's the main thing. But then also like go out to a jam, go and play with your friends, go exchange musical ideas and get that flowing so that you can get feedback and you can learn from each other. And the more experience you have, it doesn't matter if it's professional or not, you're going to grow.
Absolutely. And if you need to perform, you're going to go out and perform. It doesn't have to be the high-end paid position as you're
Exactly.
starting out. You just need to get
Exactly.
out and perform.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
great. Now, I think you've been in studio recording,
Hmm.
and I think you have an album coming out soon.
I
Can you
do.
talk to that?
Yeah. So about October last year, a group of my like favorite musician friends and I, they're the core rhythm section. They're the band that I always take everywhere if I'm doing a show. It's Will Lyle on bass, Miles Jensen on the guitar, and Isaac Weatherwax on the drums. They're my brothers. I love them. We went in October and we recorded an album of some of my favorite tunes and some that are like way lesser known so that people get a little bit of a jolt and they wake up when they hear it because they've never heard it before. A couple of instrumentals, a couple of Tony Guerrero instrumentals, not instrumentals, originals, and then an original of mine, which is a terrifying prospect for me, sharing a song that I have written because I would not consider myself a songwriter. That's something that is very difficult for me. But when it does hit, it hits. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It happens, but only like once in 100 years. It feels like. So that is almost completely done. We've gotten like guest solos in there, vibraphone and trumpet and some vocal trio stuff from some friends of mine, and that should be coming out later this year, and I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And that's how that inspiration hits. You feel this song,
Mhm.
you play guitar. Do you play any other instruments or?
I would say that I can play guitar as well as I can play the piano at this point, which is a triumph for me because I did not grow up playing piano. It only hit me as an adult because I was teaching lessons and I had no other choice but to just learn it as I went. So I can do enough to play warm-ups for my students and like basic comping for songs real slow. I'm not a pianist, but I can do it. I know all the notes, I know all the chords. And
That's
it's basically
okay.
the
And
same thing for guitar. Yeah.
that's okay. And you
Yeah.
know much more than many do. So you're in good shape. That's great.
Really. Thank you.
Um, can we hear you now? This will first be posted sometime August 2021.
Mhm.
So sometime September ish or after. Are there any performances that you're aware of? I know you're busy all the time.
Yeah, so right now I have like restaurants that I play at. I have there's a club in LA called the Jonathan Club. I play up on the roof where I believe that you can go and get reservations to listen on their rooftop grill, which is really a beautiful spot. But I'm there weekly, Sundays for brunch. I'm at the Drake about once a month in Laguna Beach, occasionally at Campus Jacks. It depends on the month. Everything's different. They like to rotate their people out. But you can go on my website, liabooth.com, and look for my calendar.
And thank you for saying that. Yes, liabooth.com,
Yes.
liabooth.com. And it's a great website and lots
Yep.
of good information there.
Thank you.
And you're just wonderful and you've been marvelous. I thank you so much for talking with me today. And I look forward to hearing you and seeing you out there performing more in the future.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Leah. Take care. Thank
You
you.
too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.